Welcome everyone. We haven't done a Facebook Live in a while. I'm Lianne Bridges. I'm here with Sharon Cohen, and we'll introduce ourselves just briefly, but I want to let you know kind of what this live is all about. We wanted to talk about radiant wellness. What does radiant wellness mean? Why is it so important? What are some of the principles? And also to talk about how we're offering an amazing retreat for a week in Costa Rica where you can really dive into radiant wellness for yourself and come back after that week refreshed, ready for a new way of living, that you'll be able to experience this radiant wellness. So we're all excited. Are you ready to kind of chop in and dive into the radiant wellness? You're the naturopath. You exemplify radiant wellness, I think, mind, body, and spirit. So maybe we can start off, Sharon, you can talk about what is radiant wellness to you and why is that important?
Ooh, well, one thing I realize is without your health, it's really, really challenging to live your most passionate dreams. And Lianne's always talking about what are your most passionate dreams? What
your heart
what
desire
lights you up in the morning?
Yeah.
What do you want to create in the world? And so we need health and wellness and energy, and we need our cells to be vibrant and alive so we can live those dreams and visions and everything that excites us, right? And to be a human being is to have infinite possibilities, right? And it's so exciting. So what is it to have vibrant health and vibrant cells and radiate wellness in the world? So I see it, there's 4 pillars. There's many, but let's just talk about the 4 basic ones.
Before you do that, maybe I can get into a little bit about my perspective also. And you know what, before also you go further, maybe you can also introduce like kind of how your work is related to radiant wellness, and we can get into the principles. Is that okay?
Sure. So my work, my passion, my purpose is I'm a naturopath, and I've been working with women's health and wellness for 27 years, long time. Helping women to feel well, to feel healthy. And this is something that came out of watching my mother's struggles as a woman, and supporting her on her journey. And my mother passed of ovarian cancer at 53 years old. And I won't get into her whole story, but living that with her, my mother and I were very close, kindred spirits. And I felt like she passed on the baton to me to take care of myself in a different, maybe a different way. It was a different generation moving into more of, I'm allowed to take care of myself. I'm allowed to put myself first. And what does that look like? And so as I healed through her passing, I started to question that. And then my profession came alive to me. And I knew that that was what I needed to work on in myself, and cultivate that with other women, that it's time for us to really put ourselves first. It's okay to do that. We weren't taught to do that necessarily, some of us, but it's okay. Not only is it okay, but it's a necessity, right? And so what does that mean? And so I'll get into that after you speak, Lianne, but I'll just leave it there and then.
Beautiful. That's great.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the things that you're facing in your clientele and coming, and some of the challenges that these people are coming with, and that one in particular about self-care and putting ourselves first. I almost have that conversation almost with every client, let alone with at least once a day with people. So it's a very prominent discussion. So what is radiant wellness for me is it's not like there's not a goal, there's not a definition, it's a such and such a weight, it's such and such a mindset, whatever. It's really a very, very individual. And I believe that as you get more and more into radiant wellness, you can feel it. You can feel, as you mentioned before, like energized in your body. You have energy at all ages, not just when you're 30, but like I see your energy, Sharon, at 65, 66 now. I love that number, and the vitality that comes with it. And whether you're you can be super thin and super fit, but not super well. You can be, all these things. You can have really great mindset and great emotional, but your body is not in tune with it because you're feeding it maybe things that are not super healthy. You're not moving it enough. So to me, it's looking at all aspects, what I would call the physical aspects, which are really about your body, what you put into it, the food, what you put onto it, the environment you live in, how you move it, how you sleep, how you rest. And then there's the whole non-physical, which we'll get into as well, which is the mindset and the emotions and the energy and the spirituality. And so we really want to look at all aspects of wellness. And that's where we kind of overlap, because it's that middle ground where, I'm a transformation coach. I help people that want to change something in their life and live their heart's desire, and how to, overcome our barriers, create a vision for yourself, and then start to step into that vision, manifest the change for you, and then to sustain it and become more masterful in doing that. And so Sharon and I have been doing retreats and workshops and women's circles for many years now under the name Magical Soul Adventures. And I think that somehow Divine gave us that name because it was so perfect. It's Radiant Wellness is about living this magical life as an adventure. So it's about living, laughing, learning, leading. It doesn't have to be a leader. I think all of us are leaders, whether we're parents or in a community, whatever it might be, and doing that with prosperity, doing it with peace, doing it with passion, with a sense of purpose, and really living your potential. So for me, that's what Radiant Wellness is all about. And I'm going to pass it back to you to kind of talk about some of the principles as you see them as an expert in health and wellness.
So I'll just share a little bit about the 4 pillars that I work with a lot. And of course, there's many levels of each, right? As we grow and evolve, we expand our consciousness, we deepen those levels and what they mean to us, right? So the first one that I'll talk about is nutrition. And nutrition means so much. When I say that word nutrition, yes, it's about what we put in our body. It's about, for me, nutrition starts with intuition. Nutrition starts with intuition. What do I mean by that? When I go to the grocery store, I don't normally pick what I'm going to buy from my rational mind. I do, in the sense of, okay, I want healthy food. I want food that is going to make me feel well and have high energy. But I use my intuitive self, like, to show me. So what's that mean? It means I show up with presence. I show up, I'm present in the store. I'm not thinking about 8 million things that I have to do later and client calls and this and that. I'm present to the food, and I see what's calling me, what's resonating with me. Yesterday I went to Tao, and they had this beautiful bok choy. And I went over, and all my whole body, my cells were going, yes, yes. So I bought the bok choy, right? So I start with, yes, what makes sense? So I'm not going to the ice cream counter and the chip counter, because I realize those foods for me don't make me feel healthy and well and alive. Doesn't mean that if I don't go out to a friend's and they're serving that, I won't have it once in a while. I don't think it's about I'll never eat that either.
Yeah.
Right? But when I go grocery shopping, I go and I am present in the store and I'm seeing what resonates with me, and then I think of all the great things I cook do with the bok choy, right? So I don't have a meal plan. Some people that works for, and then go out and pick the food for it. I feel like the food picks me in a way. And then I bring it
just
home.
high level, maybe we can talk about the principles.
Yes.
Because you've got 4, and I want to
Yes.
talk about some of the other stuff too.
Okay. Sorry. I'm
just
so passionate.
There's so much, and you're so passionate about it, and we want to leave some for the retreat too.
Yes. 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 So nutrition. So basically, tune into when you eat, what gives you energy and makes you feel well and healthy, right? And what drains your energy and you want to have a nap after, or you get headachy or stomach aches and you don't feel well. Tune into that. You'll know what to eat. Number 2 is sleep. Sleep is where our cells go into something called autophagy. They clean themselves, they cleanse and rejuvenate. They get rid of old cells and rejuvenate new ones. That's what we need. Sleep is of utmost importance. Number 3, movement. Get yourself moving. We have 2 main systems, the circulatory. We have a nice heart that pumps the blood in the circulatory system. We have another system, the lymphatic system. There is no pump. It only gets moving. That's your garbage disposal through your movement. So get moving. Whatever excites you, whatever you feel good doing, it doesn't matter. Get moving. Third, stress management, right? Because when we're creating high cortisol and always in fight or flight, or always in not feeling safe. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Was the talk I gave this morning good? Was it, and always questioning ourselves, creating higher stress hormones that imbalances the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and et cetera, et cetera. So really be mindful of managing your stress and how you could do that. I do that a lot with movement, with journaling. So and then the 4th, so we talked about sleep, stress management. Oh, we said 4, nutrition and movement. And so those are the 4 things. And so every morning I wake up and it's like, okay, these are my 4 pillars. So I give myself time to manage my stress if I wake up and my mind is going, and to pick healthy food to start the day with. Always make time for my movement and do things to help me get a good night's sleep. And I could help you do that if you have trouble sleeping as well.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love that. And so those kind of 4 principles really play well on the physical, the emotional, the mental, and if we want to, just like that last one, stress, it really goes well into what are some of the 4 principles of the non-physical side of things, right? So there's our thoughts, which you tapped into a little bit about that. So what are our thoughts? And a thought that we keep thinking, it creates a belief, and a belief creates a pattern, a way of thinking. And so what are the things that really serve us? What are the things that don't? When we want to have proper nutrition, how we feel about it. Like one of the things you were saying is, when we feel into, how when we ate something that we doesn't feel that good, and we look into it, do we beat ourselves up because we ate the chips? Or do we say, you know what, that doesn't feel so good. Maybe I'll think differently. That thought and then the emotion with it, which is the second principle of the non-physical aspect of radiant wellness, is that it's they go hand in hand. And so it's really hard for you to have really good nutrition if you're not really compassionate with yourself and curious with yourself as you move through these movements, right? So the thoughts and the emotions that are associated with thoughts, or the emotions and thoughts kind of go hand in hand. How do I feel about ourselves? Is something you were talking about before. Do I put myself first, or do I feel I'm not worthy enough to do that I have to help everyone else to just show my worthiness? Do I not have boundaries? These are some of the thoughts and the emotional aspects of radiant wellness as well. And then it's energy, being really sensitive to your own energy. You know, do you feel, like getting back to what Sharon was saying, do you feel tired? Do you need rest and sleep? Do you need better nutrition? What is your energy like? What is your energy like around different people, different environments?
Mm.
I'm looking for a house right now. As I go in, I'm feeling like that's the first thing. I walk into a room, I walk onto the property, I feel the energy, I use my intuition. You know, and so creating an environment that feels really good, surrounding yourself with people that help you from a vibe perspective. So we talk about our thoughts and beliefs. The second one is really about the emotions associated with it. The third is about the energy. And the last one is about our spirituality, our belief system, our connection to, which we've talked about, our intuition, and even greater to the greater non-physical realm that's out there. These kind of like 4 and 4 maybe are our principles of radiant wellness that we'll be talking about. Well, first of all, we do that work in our day-to-day practices, but we'll be really, what's so much fun about a retreat, even more so like our workshops, we have so much fun diving into these things. But with our retreat, you have 7 days to move out of your day-to-day to really be able to do that kind of reset of all of those principles. And maybe I'll just throw it back to you about why. The first question is why Costa Rica is the perfect place for this type of radiant wellness reset, and in particular the place that we're going to, which is between a jungle and the ocean. Maybe, do you want to take a stab at that?
Yes, because you were talking about energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And so the energy of nature is very calming to our nervous system. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. It calms down the stress hormones, yes. Right? And I feel nature is there to support us, so present in whatever our intentions are. And you mentioned reset, which is very important. I just want to grab onto that because so many women come to see me who are stuck in old habits, mm-hmm. and are having a hard time getting out of those old habits, be it unhealthy eating, be it too much stagnation, be it the same, falling into the same patterns with their husbands or significant others, family members. And so it's so beautiful to have the presence, the witnessing of this beautiful nature that is just there, like holding space for us, and calming, right? Helping us to calm down. And so that we can start to, what we teach is disengaging old habits and how do we create new self-sustaining, high energy, vibrant habits that we may have wanted for years and years and years, but didn't know how to break that pattern, right? And to do it in nature, with a like-minded group of women who are holding space, and who, I have to say, I just want to add, the women in Portugal, we did a retreat in May, the support that they had for each other, and they really wanted each other to win. It really moved me to tears, honestly. It was a beautiful connection when women come together in support and love for each other.
Yeah, and I want to say too is that it was so important that we had the right people, and Sharon and I really do very intentionally create a retreat and invite people, and we don't just take everyone. We think of the individual, their needs relative to what we can offer, and the group. And so it's really more of a, you know, whenever we talk to you and you want to find out more information, it's an interview both ways. You learn about us, but we also learn about you if this is the right thing for you. So that's a really important part. And the other thing, when you were talking about, I loved about how you said about, you know, breaking the old habits and creating new, healthy, radiant ones, is that it's really hard to do that in an hour session, even a 1-day workshop. But when you take 7 days out of your life and you remove yourself from your day-to-day completely in another country, as you said, supported by other people, it really can make a massive change. And one of the things we do is we're always in that ourselves changing, and we benefit from that as well. And when I came back from Portugal, I got really clear as I needed to move, and I couldn't have done that without that perspective, that time, that support. And I came back head down, and I'm in a massive transformation after 20 years. These are the things that we see with our clients there, and we go through them as well.
Yes.
And I'm part of it with you, right? And so what else about Costa Rica in particular, and the energy there, and the retreat center that is designed specifically for wellness, the food, the support they have? Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So yes, I'm very excited that they are so health conscious, the owners of this retreat center. Not only that, but the food, the majority of the food is grown within the local vicinity. So it's when you eat food that's local, it's taking in the same air and the same water as you are. It's very high energy. And of course, what they grow there, because of their climate, is just so nourishing and so delicious, the fresh produce. And then they have a swimming pool, which is so lovely. So we could get our exercise in there right near to the ocean. I intend to swim in the ocean. And
lots of hikes.
Sorry?
Too. Lots of hikes around there too. They said
lots of hikes. Yes, hiking, and there's all these little casitas, these little homes that we're going to share, and these people who run the center are very committed to your highest health and well-being.
Yes.
So you will be nestled not only with us, but with the owners of the retreat center and the people who run it, and nature and the beauty of Costa Rica and the weather there. I have to say, I love going there. Most of the reason in February, I'm not the biggest winter person, as those of you who know me well know. And so it's gorgeous weather in February in Costa Rica, and it's the dry season, so we don't even see any rain. It's just beautiful, 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 beautiful every single day.
Exactly. And what the other thing too, when you talk about energy and spirituality to some extent, but especially energy, the energy of Costa Rica, if you've been or maybe you haven't been, is very different than Caribbean islands and the places close to Panama, Nicaragua, and so forth. It has a very peaceful, and it has started by how they've governed. They haven't had an army there since the 60s. They have really focused on natural preservation. Something like 60 to 70% of all the land is protected. Yeah. So their mindset, their consciousness, their energy, their vibration of the land is of the highest. You feel it, you sense it when you go there. And that's why so many people are attracted to that. And they've kept the development really down. You don't see, like in Miami or even a lot of places in Hawaii, all these massive places right on the beach and stuff like that. So the energy of Costa Rica, which really is very conducive to all the principles that we talked about as well. So, so if you have not ever been to Costa Rica, or you have and you want to go back in February, this would be an awesome opportunity. Maybe we can also talk a little bit about what you and I would be doing, and the other two leaders that that will be coming with us as well. So maybe you can start with that.
Sure. Well, what I do is coach people, and what I spoke about before. So I'll be working with the team at the retreats center called Consmania, and to set up an incredible menu, not only super healthy, but also very high vibration foods, and we'll take it into the body and see what that food does with us. So it's a very high elevation of the nourishment the potential nourishment of a food, things that were never taught. I was never taught that until I went to school
Exactly.
for, you know, my holistic school to train as a naturopath. And so, and also there's many women who talk to me who would like to come and maybe lose a few pounds. So we can also adjust accordingly for that. The team, the kitchen team is really open to whatever our needs are, whatever your needs are. So I'd like to adjust that way. So, so teaching the many levels of nutrition, and then talking also about, we have Storm Lutner who's going to be joining us, and she is a health coach, and she's going to be bringing in something that's very exciting to me. So it's really all the emotions that we have around eating, and so around food and things we were taught about food and things we should do and things we shouldn't do. So sometimes when we look at food, it's not just food. There's so much that so many emotional aspects that come along with it. The food that I think makes me fat, and the food that this and that, and so she's going to be addressing that, and that's really exciting to go deeper within yourself about that. And then for those who may have challenges in sleeping, I'm going to give you tips about that. And Costa Rica and the jungle is very much conducive to better sleeping because of the air and everything like that. So those are some of the things we'll talk about.
Awesome. I love it. So again, we're talking about these principles, and all, you know, as a transformation coach and with Sharon, she's very much has an expertise also in how to shift you from A to Z in your transformation process. We'll really, we play and guide and teach in a very fluid way, but under current we have some structure. And just generally what we try to do is help you at the beginning assess where you are and what your goals are. Create a vision for what it is that you want to create. These are kind of the fundamentals of transformation, right? The principles. So getting a vision, understanding what might be holding you back, what might be getting in your way, like Sharon was saying before, and helping you to shift that and to create some commitments as you move forward, and a little bit of you know, what you will need, identifying what you will need as you go forward to support you. And the retreat, what we do is not only do we have the retreat, but we have a coaching session beforehand and 2 coaching sessions after, and we also have private one-on-one coaching sessions with Sharon and I. You can do it before or after. During, usually it's harder to do because we're very much focused on the process. And I just want to add one other thing too, is that Tiffany Moffat will be joining us. She's an expert in fitness and has been for over 30 years in all forms of fitness, from Zumba to yoga to Pilates to you name it. So she's going to be doing lots of different things to get us moving. That one of the main principles that Sharon mentioned. And she's a little energizer bunny. She's 58, going on 38. You won't believe she's 58, I tell you. Amazing. So we have this awesome team, not only the 4 of us, but the team at Costa Rica and the resort center, the place, the curriculum. As I said, we're going to be really working at getting the best people there. We already have several amazing people signed up. So what we're going to be offering is an information session at the end of the month, August 28th from 7 to 8 Eastern time. So it's a free session if you want to join in, find out a little bit more, ask your questions. But also in the meantime, you can contact either of us, and we'll put all the links below. We'll put the link to the website. We'll put the link to the event once we get it up. It's not quite ready yet, but we'll get that in the day or so. And any questions you might have as well. And also that it's really important that if this is something called to you, reach out and ask us if there's something in the way. And because sometimes it's just what we found with people. Once we have a little conversation, it's just like, what's possible shifting one thing? You know, like there's a woman who came with us in May, and she was a teacher. She said, there's no way in May I can take, like, and she ended up 2 weeks in Portugal or something like that. And then just a little, you know, kind of working with her, she was able to ask for it and get the time off I mean, I've never heard of a teacher do this before, and it was amazing. And it was the best thing that ever happened to us. And I think she's coming with us to Costa Rica as well.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Again, it's in February. He's like, no, I can't get time off.
Yep.
Right? So
create miracles for yourself.
yeah. And what we always say, as soon as you commit, we find the work starts to happen. So you're saying, yes, I'm going for whatever is drawing you there, whatever shift that you want, by just making that commitment, and we ask for a deposit, that people start to shift. And then we do, you're starting to be introduced to the other people, the other ladies, like it just moves really quickly. So it's amazing. So you can start your shift now that's going to be really manifesting in February.
Love it. Yes, absolutely. We see it all the time.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add here about the Radiant Wellness? We talked about what it is, why it's important, the principles, and how we're going to be offering this awesome retreat.
I think there's just, I just wanted to say that for me, Radiant Wellness isn't about having no symptoms.
Yeah.
It's very important, I feel, to bring that up. It's not about that, but it's about, do we have to have suffering along with the symptoms? Right? So even if we have some health challenges going on, what's our relationship to it? And I think it's so powerful to come to a place where we find peace.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And so so I think a lot of the work we do also is moving from victimhood, like why me, why whatever, to gratitude.
Yeah, and in between there too is, well, what is this telling me? What is this suffering or this incident?
Yes,
part exactly. Of me that's not working?
What are the messages? We do a lot of work around. Thank you for bringing that up. What are the messages in the body?
Yes.
And now I have symptoms once in a while of digestive symptoms. And instead of getting mad at it, I used to like bang it and go, I'm so mad, I don't want you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Go, okay, where am I kind of fallen off my path a little bit here? Thank you for the blessings of trying to communicate with me. So I have a different relationship to my body and my symptoms, right? Yeah. And the last thing I want to mention is I get calls all the time for women with hormones and going through the change, and it's so hard. And so by the time you leave the retreat, you will have a different relationship to the change, to your hormones.
Yes.
Which times it's like, why are my hormones doing this, right? So you'll learn a lot about balancing hormones and what hormones are for, and listening to the messages, developing your intuitive self so it becomes the gift, right, that I'm grateful for, instead of like, why does it have to be like this, right?
Exactly. And that's similar but a little bit different is the people that always are coming to me, they're feeling stuck in their life. There's a transitions happening. Often it has to do with their work and money and retirement, or shifting something, and that stuckness ends up at some point getting manifested in their body. And that's why often I'll say, okay, you need to also talk to Sharon, because it's manifesting, but you also need to, you're not living your passion and your heart's desire. Maybe you did at one point, something's stuck there and you want to move it. You want to have a vision for where you want to go. And so that's what that idea, very, very holistic approach to the work of moving you into that radiant wellness. So it's going to be so awesome. We can't wait for this retreat and to see you and answer any of your questions at the information session. So hope you'll join us. And thanks so much for listening.
Thank you for coming on this little short journey with us today. Many blessings.
Yeah, thank you.